Right place. Okay, yay! Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Tanya Sheldon. I am a Pro 7 out of Meridian, Idaho, and I'm a little shaky tonight. I'm a little nervous. When it gets, usually my team Zoom, I've got one page of people I work with that come onto the Zoom, and when you get bigger than that, you get a little nervous, but I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. I love doing Zooms, and I love it especially when I get to see your faces. I get the pleasure of talking about building community tonight, and I think that's probably one of the biggest factors in our businesses. But real quickly, I wanted to make sure that you all are aware of a big promotion happening right now in the company. This is really big. So this is for the month of September, and it's called the September Rank and Earn Promotion. As an extra helping hand, we're offering a promotion for the rest of the month to help put some extra cash in your wallet. Here's how it works. Rank advance for the first time to Pro 4, 5, or 6 and earn a one-time cash bonus. Also, if you have previously achieved Pro 4 or above, but have not been paid as that rank for the past 6 months, you also qualify for this promotion. So for Pro 4s, that's an added $200. For Pro 5s, that's an added $400. And Pro 6, an extra $1,000 in your pocket. There's your Orlando money, right? That is huge. So that's for September. Orlando is right around the corner, the beginning of November. And talk about community, right? How much fun is it when we go to these elite academies and we get to be around all of these people? So I believe that community is one of the key things, if not the most important thing, that we get to offer to people here at Lifevantage, the community that we can give them. And a lot of people sometimes don't think they need it, or they don't realize that they need it. So I looked up the definition of community, and here's what I found. It says, a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Now, for me, building community, it can kind of seem like a bit easy and kind of a given thing, especially when you're in a company like Lifevantage, right? But I thought I would first talk about building community at home. Because for me, my business runs better when my community and my fellowship at home is on point. And when it's not, I'm not the best me that I can be when I'm doing this business. Our home environment is a place where fellowship starts. That's a place where community starts. That's a place where our children feel safest, right? Where we as our spouses should feel safest. So make sure when you're building that community at home that you are in proper communication with your family. It is vital. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I work Lifevantage full-time. My husband does not work the business with me. He tinkers now and again, and I would love him to do more, but it's not for him right now, and that's okay. He works a full-time job. So as a wife and a full-time mom, it can be difficult at times, right? And if I am not properly communicating to my children and my husband what I have going on throughout the week, then it causes a little havoc. I apologize for the dog. We got real life happening here. I can't shut her up. So I'm sorry you heard that in the background. But if I'm not communicating with my family, it causes disruption. It really does. And it's very easy for me sometimes to put it in my calendar, put it out to my team, and then realize I didn't tell the most important people in my life first. And they should know first. And for my children especially, the last thing that I want is for them to see mom as a person that's always working. If I am not communicating with them what's happening, then the minute I say I have to jump on a call, I have to jump on a Zoom, I have to go to a meeting, and they don't know about it, it could trump an amazing day we had the day previously if I don't communicate it. But if they know ahead of time, the community and the fellowship we have at home is astounding. It's so great. And I would also just say to you guys, when you're dealing with family environment, it's really easy in this business. We can run our business from our phone. And if we are attached to our phone and not being selective of when we're on it, that can cause disruption too. It's easy. Here's so many things that play out for me, right? I've got my kids, I'm on my way home from school, I get a text, I'm just pulling into my driveway, and it's a text that kind of like, I want to get back to this person, I need to get back to this person. And maybe I don't need to, but in my mind, I'm telling myself I need to. And my kids are starving, and my husband has texted me, he's on his way home from work, and he's starving. So you go inside, you start getting dinner ready, but you don't put your phone down. It's still with you because you really want to get back to that text. And then your kids come in and they start talking about homework or their school day, and you suddenly feel overwhelmed, and who do you take it out on? The people that mean the most to you, and that's not fair. So community at home is key. Please put that first in your life so that everything outside of that can be better. Now, community plays a huge role in how we see our future and what we believe to be possible for our lives. So if you are around a community of people, whether it's good friends or maybe even your family, sadly, that are negative and don't believe in having a better future, or just like the way things are, and they don't think anyone around them deserves better. You know, they have a good life and maybe they don't know what a great life is. That can hold you back. That's not the kind of community that you want to be around to move you forward. Whereas if you're around a community of people that have options in life and they're living a life of freedom, that's what you want to be around, so that you too can believe and see that there can be things better for your future. Now, within Lifevantage, community can be created at any level of your business, you guys. Whether you're a new distributor, for new distributors, as a new distributor, you want to find that person in your upline that will connect you, to Zooms like this, where you can see pages of people that are doing something just like you. That gives people a sense of community, and that's so important in their lives. You also want to make sure that they know their upline. Introduce them to at least 3 of their uplines so that they know they have support and they're not in this alone, right? And then you have to show up. As a new distributor, just hopping on these Zooms, it's not enough, you guys. People need people today. They need the energy of other people. If you're a new distributor or you've not been to an Elite Academy before, I would say to you, do whatever it takes to go to Elite Academy in Orlando. I want to explain to you something that happened to me. I don't know if a lot of you may not know this, but I've been in Amway 2 times, okay? And my first time I was in Amway, I showed up to everything. Like, I wanted a change in my life. And when I went to the big event, I'll never forget it. It was in an arena, and the people on stage, for the first time in my life, someone was telling me that I could have what they had. And I'd never been around that before. I always thought that the people that had a lot, that was for them, and nothing that I could ever obtain. Nothing that would be there for me. But the community I felt and the people I saw that day made me believe that I could have it. And I wouldn't have gotten it had I not shown up. You will not gain community and belief in yourself and grow if you do not show up, you guys. It's vital. I think of a church experience I had. We shopped for a new church for a long time here when we lived in Boise. And one of the churches we were at, we'd been there about a week, and I'd heard about a women's Bible study coming up. I called the church. I couldn't find anything, and I called to see, how do I get involved? And she asked me questions. Well, how long have you been around? How long have you been with us? And I said, just a week. She's like, I think that's so amazing that you already want to plug in. She said, so many people they show up every Sunday and they don't meet anyone and they sit in the same spot, and then they suddenly think, well, this isn't the right church for me. And they don't give it a real experience because they don't reach out or plug in or get to know anyone. That's what you want to do. And as a new distributor, if you listen to a call or you hear a Zoom and someone's story resonates with you, find out who that is. Somebody's going to know somebody that knows who that is, and reach out to them and say, your story is my story. Could we talk? Could we get together? That's going to give you belief, and that's going to build a foundation for you too of community, knowing that you're not alone and other people share your story. And as you're building a team, okay, if you've been in for a little while, Reach out to every new person that comes into your business. Let them know who you are. Let them know that you're there for them. And again, make sure that they know at least 3 of their uplines so they know that they have support. Now, home meetings, those are a must, right? And when you're doing those home meetings, you want to make sure when that new person walks in your door that they love the community that they're going to be a part of. Is it going to be boring or is it going to be fun? You set the tone for that. So when someone walks into your home as a guest, you introduce yourself. Get to know them and make sure that you introduce them to the person doing the home meeting. You can sell people even from the get-go if they feel that this is a community they want to be a part of, right? From the get-go. So that's so important. And people, if you build a community that people love being a part of, they'll want to stick around just because of how you make them feel when they're with you. And have potlucks. Don't think that with your team you have to just get together when it's home meetings. Think outside of that. Create a family environment. Do potlucks or have holiday parties. Every year here in Idaho, we have a Christmas party, or we'll get together for Halloween and have chili and things like that. Just always build that community. Do things outside of just the businesses. And sometimes that serves as a great way to bring guests, to get them into your community and just get to meet the amazing people that you're around without even seeing an opportunity presentation. So building community too, guys, it doesn't always mean that you'll get the distributors moving faster, right? But sometimes you will if they have that community. Their belief grows stronger faster. But other times, I believe it serves as a source of continued inspiration for their growth. Because many people sometimes, they just need to keep showing up so that they can find trust in the fact that they want to let their guard down and they want to be vulnerable and they want to share their true authentic self. And it's community that gives them that. But sometimes that takes a little bit. So don't give up on people. Community is a place of love. It's a place to nurture people and help them grow, help them become who they're meant to be through this amazing network of network marketing. Your business, we know it'll never be bigger than you are. And sometimes the sense of community, that's what helps people get bigger. Not sometimes, always. That's what helps people get bigger when they're around community and they can believe bigger. And community builds belief. Now, who do you think needs community the most? It's the people that think they don't need it. And there are a lot of them. And I would say to you, if you don't think you need it, I want you to check your ego in the nicest way possible. And we know that under ego, it's fear. And it may be fear of judgment. It may be fear of rejection. It may be a fear that you don't want people to know your past. You don't want them to know that you haven't been working the business the past 6 months. You don't want them to know that every time you invite, you're getting a no. You guys, if you're not plugging in and sharing these struggles, you won't grow. That's why we're here. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I was in Amway, sorry I keep bringing that up, but it was a huge experience in my life, was when things were going wrong, I would retract and I wouldn't show up and I wouldn't get on calls, and then I quit. And you can't quit from this opportunity because we're sitting on the greatest opportunity. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. So if you don't think you need community, you do. And that's when you have to show up. You have to go to the LVAs. You have to go to the home meeting. And if you're looking for things to plug into and you don't know how to find that, reach out to someone that does. Be that person that shows up by themselves. I don't know anybody that's ever showed up at an event where community is created and they walk away saying, I wish I wouldn't have gone. Everybody feels like somebody, and they're so happy they went when they go. And the one thing I wanted to say too is community, it's not just about something that we create, you guys. Community is about having a safe place to go to when things aren't going right. And that is a big gift for people, because sometimes when things aren't going right in your business, there may be people in your life that just don't want to hear it or they don't understand it. But in Lifevantage, we get it and we understand it because we've all been there. And the last example I'll give you is tonight. I love Sundays. I treasure Sundays in my life because I love my church, and our small groups have started again. And the community I have in our small group is amazing. I grow and learn every time I'm around these people. I want to be more like them. And tonight there was a new couple there, and they just moved 39 days ago from Kansas City, Missouri to Boise. And they, in the 39 days they've been there, our church was the third one they found. And when they walked into the church, they said it felt like home. And do you know why? Because they were greeted with a smile. They were greeted with warmth, and they were shown the way how to do things, just like we can do with people here. And they plugged in right away so they could get to know people. And they were there tonight, and I was telling my husband on the way home, I'm so happy for them, because imagine had they not signed up for a small group. Imagine had they not plugged in. It probably would be a different journey for them for a while, wondering if they belong or if they should stay here. It's the same thing here. You're not going to know if this is really the home for you within Lifevantage if you don't plug in and allow yourself to be a part of the community. Don't think you don't belong. Everybody belongs here. We don't ask for your history. We don't ask for your resume. We don't look at your demographic or what you've done in the past. Everyone deserves this. So that's what I had to say about community. I hope it helped you guys, but it all starts with you plugging in and then giving that and creating that for other people that come in. So now we get to hear from the incredible Dr. Hoadley Harris. I am going to read to you how amazing he is here. So Dr. Harris is a family medicine physician who is in full-time private practice in Fargo, North Dakota. He has been practicing medicine since 1985. A large part of his practice focuses on anti-aging and wellness, in which Lifevantage products are an integral element. He trained at the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine and completed a 3-year family medicine residency at Sioux Falls, South Dakota Family Medicine Residency Program. And he is an assistant clinical professor in the Department of Family Medicine at the University of North Dakota of Medicine. He is currently a principal investigator in multiple FDA clinical trials. Wow, that's so cool. Multiple clinical FDA trials studying various diseases and treatment. These include osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, arthritis, restless leg syndrome, post-herpetic, I don't know, some of these, migraine and asthma. And Dr. Harris has lectured extensively on the psychopharmacology of depression, bipolar disorder, and ADHD. And he was introduced to Nrf2 science and a product called Protandim in 2014. And based on what you just heard about how he's talked extensively on depression and bipolar and ADHD, he is going to share with us his belief of Axio tonight. So with that, Dr. Harris, thank you for coming on tonight. We're excited to hear from you.
Very much. It's really fun to be back on a Sunday night call. And tonight we're going to talk about energy. And Axio is a big part of that, but we're also going to talk about Protandim NRF1 because that's an integral part of energy as well. And just a quick disclaimer, this information is not intended, as we've heard many times, to treat, diagnose, mitigate, or cure any disease. And you certainly don't want to disregard any medical advice or put off seeking medical advice due to anything you hear tonight. But with that said, let's start with Axio. And you need to know a little bit about the energy business. Energy is a big business. Back in 1999, it was about a $3 billion industry. Today, it's over $30 billion industry. Coffee used to outsell energy by 30 to 1. Now it only outsells energy by 2 to 1, and that ratio is going to reverse shortly.
Dr. Harris?
Yes.
Could you speak up just a little bit more, please?
Absolutely.
If people are having a tough time hearing you.
Absolutely. Let me do that. Okay.
That's better. Thank you.
So fatigue, most of us, when we say we want more energy, the problem is that we're fatigued. And fatigue is really more of low mood, loss of focus, and brain fog, because most of us do what? We sit in an office all day. We're not out doing physical labor. So traditional energy drinks give people increased physical energy and focus, but it's short-lived. People crash after that big sugar and caffeine load. They get the jitters, and they're going to gain weight if they're using the products with sugar in it. So Axio really is a guilt-free brain food. It gives you that same physical energy and focus, but you also get an alertness and a calming and less mental fatigue with it, all without jitters, a crash, or weight gain. And it lasts a long time. Most of the time you need one in the morning and one in the afternoon, completely different than what we're used to with coffees and those kind of things. There are 5 proprietary ingredients in Axio, and they work to improve how the brain works. It improves neurotransmission. It also improves blood flow and certainly promotes mental clarity. So Axio comes in 2 forms. Axio Energy and Axio Endure. Energy has 100 milligrams of caffeine, which is about what you would get in a normal cup of American coffee. That's what you use in the morning because it gives you that extra energy that you need. Endure, on the other hand, is what you would use in the afternoon. It helps keep your mind in focus, but it avoids that overstimulation. So both products have in common the fact that they have niacin, B6, B12, magnesium. But the thing that really makes them unique is that proprietary blend of DMAE, green tea extract, quercetin, Monterey pine bark extract, and L-theanine. So let's just talk about those individually a little bit so that you can perhaps understand why this product does what it does. So DMAE is a chemical which is a precursor to choline, which is a precursor to acetylcholine, one of your main neurotransmitters in your brain. And the idea of how DMAE works is that if you increase choline, you're probably going to increase acetylcholine, and neurotransmission is going to get better. So DMAE has long been used by itself as a medicine, specifically for ADHD, Alzheimer's disease, autism. It's also used to improve athletic performance. Next is green tea. Green tea can be consumed either as tea or it can be consumed as an extract, which is more commonly used for medicinal purposes. There are many different things which green tea is used for. And by the way, go to WebMD. You can go to multiple other sources on the web, and you can see what these products all do individually. But for our purposes, green tea is best thought of as improving mental alertness and thinking. Quercetin is a plant flavonoid, and it's present in foods and plants, and particularly red wine, onions, apples, berries. It's in St. John's wort as well, and people use quercetin as medicine as well. It's used for multiple things, particularly vascular disease, but it's also used to increase endurance and improve athletic performance. How does it work? It has definite antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, so I think it's best looked at as a cellular protector. New Zealand pine bark extract contains pycnogenol, and pycnogenol is used in treating circulatory problems. It's also used in attention deficit disorder. It's been used to slow the aging process, to improve athletic performance and endurance as well. How does it work? It probably increases blood flow. So it may be that this helps improve brain function by improving cerebral flow. Last is L-theanine. This is an amino acid. That's a building block of proteins. It's also found in green tea. Now, people have used this for its calming effect, for the anti-anxiety effect. It's also used in high blood pressure, Alzheimer's disease, and that type of thing. But how does it really work? Well, it has a structure that's very similar to glutamate, which again is a neurotransmitter in the brain. So it may well work to improve neurotransmission. We'll come back and sum up Axio, but let's go next to NRF1 and aging. Now, the way that your body makes energy is with mitochondria. Mitochondria take nutrients and oxygen, and they make ATP. That is your energy source, and mitochondria produce 95% of all the energy that your body, both physical and mental, uses. And the problem is that as we age, we see declining mitochondrial function, and that's a natural consequence of the aging process, and it's certainly accelerated by oxidative stress. So the problem is fewer and fewer functioning mitochondria, less ATP, and that's your body's source, particularly for heart function, muscle function, and healthy brain function. So if we boost mitochondrial function, we're going to feel better. We're going to feel more energetic. Now, one thing that we need to point out is that mitochondrial dysfunction is part of many diseases, not the least of which is heart disease, diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases such as Huntington's disease, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. It's also been linked to autism and muscular diseases like muscular dystrophy and Lou Gehrig's disease. If you want to know more about that, go to mitochondrialdiseases.com and you can explore all of those things. There's also a potential link to cancer with dysfunctional mitochondria. For the prevailing theory of cancer is that starts with a mutation of the DNA in the nucleus of the cell, and then that causes cancer to start. Well, there's a guy by the name of Dr. Otto Warburg, and he has promoted the notion that cancer may in fact originate with damage to the mitochondria. We know that, for instance, in cancer, mitochondria don't function normally. They're deregulated. And so there's a growing interest in how alteration of mitochondrial function may indeed inhibit tumor growth. So how does mitochondrial dysfunction cause cancer? We don't know for sure. In broad general terms, when the mitochondria aren't working right, they don't utilize oxygen the way they should. So the acid-base balance changes in the cell, and it's thought that could lead to cellular mutation. So Protandim NRF1 was developed by our chief science officer, Natalie Chevreau. And she went on to prove how this works. And she did two types of testing with it. She did in vitro, that is in the lab, in the test tube testing, where she tested the effect of NRF1 on human kidney cells. But she went further than that, and she did a human study in 40 individuals to show what taking NRF1 actually does. So first, let's look at the tests that were done in the lab on human kidney cells. And basically what she did is she added the Protandim NRF1 to these living cell cultures. And what she showed was that we had increased NRF1 gene expression that came up by 160%. So what that tells you is that Protandim NRF1 makes that NRF1 messenger go attached to the DNA, and it changes gene expression. It increases the genes that NRF1 activates. Secondly, she showed that in those cell cultures that adding NRF1 to that increased our ATP production, your energy source, by 20%. Who couldn't use 20% more energy on this call? I think we all would say, yeah, that sounds really good. Well, beyond that, then she did the human observational study. And this was 40 people, and they studied them for 4 weeks. And what they did is they took measurements at 2 and at 4 weeks. And they used a health questionnaire and what's called a visual analog scale to measure their response. And the interesting thing is that the majority of the people in the study showed significant response at 2 weeks, but they showed an even better response at 4 weeks. Now, the things that changed was that their sleep improved significantly. They noted increased amounts of dreams, which means they had better deep sleep, better rapid eye movement sleep. They noted that they felt better rested when they awakened. They had an easier time exercising. They had less fatigue, better energy, and their focus all improved. Now, some of the ingredients in NRF1 may potentially interact with other drugs and that sort of thing. So people taking NRF1, if they're diabetic or taking Coumadin or on blood pressure pills, they need to monitor those parameters. But the fact is that the Protandim NRF1, any of the amounts of those herbs in that are far below the levels you might see an effect on any of those individual ingredients. I have seen no problems in my patients. One thing is you want to take your thyroid meds separately because the alpha lipoic acid in NRF1 might interfere with the absorption. The real significant precaution that you want to observe with NRF1 is that in the process of making energy from oxygen and nutrients, free radicals are produced, so you increase oxidative stress. So it's really imperative that anyone taking NRF1 should be taking Protandim NRF2. If you're going to take one or the other, if you're only going to take one, then it should be the Protandim NRF2. So Protandim NRF1 is composed of rhodiola rosea, coenzyme Q, grape extract, alpha lipoic acid, and quercetin. It boosts mitochondrial function, it increases the formation of new mitochondria, and it helps the mitochondria protect their own DNA, so that has an anti-aging effect on the mitochondria itself. Lastly, when we're speaking of energy then, what is the real difference in the energy that we get from Protandim NRF1 versus what we get from Axio? Protandim NRF1 increases intracellular ATP, your energy store. So you get better physical and mental energy from that. Axio energy, on the other hand, produces better brain function. That results in improved mental clarity and focus, and and people have the perception of better physical energy. But remember, most of our fatigue is due to that low mood, brain fog, and loss of focus. Because of the New Zealand pine bark extract, quercetin, and DMAE in particular, Axio makes a great pre-workout drink. So these are two different approaches to improving energy, which really complement each other naturally and well. So that's the end of my presentation. It was a pleasure to talk to you all. I hope this gives you confidence in what these products do and how they do it. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. Amazing information. I can never get enough on Axio. And NRF1 too, I think it's always great when we get more specifics on that as well and how to share it. So that was amazing information. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in. I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening. Make sure you plug into that September promotion so you know what's going on. And thanks again. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.